two anime in one season that are completely different, but that we love all the same. Today we're talking about Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, and JJK Season 2. Our Frieren conversation, we are going to keep spoiler-free, and once we dive into JJK, since it's Season 2, it's going to be spoiler talk. Oh. So just be warned. But first, let's talk about Frieren. Of course, I've been saying it wrong this whole damn time. Frieren? I wasn't that far off, but what...
You were just saying it with an accent.
What kind of joke, what kind of bozo am I? Frieren is actually how you say it, and you have to say it that way. Beyond Journey's End is a newer anime, Madhouse Studios. Madhouse, I think, did Hunter x Hunter. Madhouse is a behemoth. They've done a lot of stuff, and I was incredibly excited when it was announced that Madhouse was going to be taking on Frieren, because it was a series that I had read about 3 volumes of. And Mehgan, it was your first time consuming it at all. So I'm more curious to hear what you expected going into it. And as of this recording, I think there's only about 6 episodes out. So how you are feeling about the series so far?
Yeah, I was so excited to find out that they were going to be doing a 2-hour or like split into like 4 episodes for the start of the series because of the nature of the start of the series, which I think was like super important. And I'm loving that they're doing that for like more and more anime series. I think it just like cuts all the fat from the like, you know, what's essentially like a volume 1 of the story and become invested within these characters to have a longer period of time with them at the beginning. Oshinoko did that. Some others did that. And I kind of like knew what it was essentially about because you had talked about it to me before, and I, you know, obviously like perused the first volume and I loved the art style. I love the concept for the story, so I was super excited to watch it because it did look so beautiful, all the trailers and everything, and it's amazing. It's like everything that I would want in a fantasy slice of life. I think that I've watched what is it?
I mean, other fantasy series that you watch are Magus Bride.
Yes.
You watched the one about the slime.
Yeah, that's the one I'm trying to remember the name of.
Not the time I got reincarnated as a slime.
No.
It's a.
What? My God, I'm like spacing.
You want me to look it up?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I love a good slice of life like fantasy story. So when I kind of got the vibe of what the show is going to be about, and it's kind of like changing, but in a really good way, I was super excited. It's just like you're watching a little party go on adventures and do things. And in a way, it is just like retracing the steps of the past and like changing things and feeling different things. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's so beautiful. The music and the animation and the characters and the world, it's just so like fresh but like familiar. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think that it exceeded every expectation I had for the anime, and I'll be honest, when I was reading it, as great as I thought it was, I wasn't even expecting it to be animated. So when it got announced, I was already extremely excited, and then the Madhouse announcement came out. And then the trailer came out, and I saw how incredibly beautiful it was and how much Madhouse was really putting into this.
Yeah.
And you can tell how much love is in this series because, again, there are sequences that blow me away. There's a sequence later, I think in episode maybe even 5, that took my breath away, dude. I mean, from like an emotional standpoint and also from an animation standpoint, and that's what this show does so incredibly well. It's not a show that like has all these like insane sequences, but when it has a chance to flex, like it flexes hard, dude.
Yeah.
Not to mention like nailing the emotional core of like Frieren and using that device that exists in the manga to cut back and forth from past to present, from when she traveled with this party that saved the entire world to present day, when she's sort of like, or ends up sort of like retracing those steps. It's so touching and powerful. And this is going to sound crazy, but I was telling Mehgan, I don't know, man. I think the reason I gravitate towards Frieren so much is because I don't know, dude. I feel like I relate to her. I feel like there's a part of me that relates to being somebody who doesn't really understand, like understands on like, I guess, a very like simple level, like why these things are so important to people. But since like I never experienced a lot of those things in my own upbringing, in my own life, I feel like I'm not connecting with things as much as other people are connecting with them. And so to see a main character sort of struggling with that same thing for a different reason, it's kind of comforting because, you know, you feel seen, I guess. And that's what watching it makes me feel, because she's also learning to open up, and she's also learning that it's okay to like be who she is, and these things that she thinks are so like unattainable or profound or outside of or beyond her, I guess. She's finding that they come a little, I guess, more naturally to her, or that she can feel them in her own way, and they're equally as real.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That might not be a great way of saying it, but I mean, that's what it is at its core. You know, it's really about, and you described it better than I'm describing it right now off mic, but you were describing like her and her feelings towards the world and towards people. And because she is an elf, and elves in this fantasy world live to be thousands of years old, or 1,000 years old. I'm not sure exactly how long, but a very long time. She's very detached, and she doesn't put as much weight on things as other people with shorter lifespans do. And so I feel like nailing that was, I don't know, maybe easier said than done. And I feel like they really nailed it.
And I like how she isn't necessarily like the kind of like complete like textbook trope of like a very cold-hearted like person. Because we do see like growth within her. She can be silly, she can be cute, she can be kind of messy at times. Like, I like how she's more of a complex character than just a like, I don't know what love means.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know. Like, it's just like overplayed, and I'm so glad that she isn't just that. And that's what makes it like a really entertaining story with the other characters, because she's able to do both when she doesn't understand something, and when she does, like, kind of like light bulb moment of something that she didn't really realize before. It's like really satisfying. And especially like the way she carries herself and the way she does things, you could feel her age. Like, you could feel I don't know, like she has like a warmth and kind of like just like a really, I don't know, it's like a kindness, and she just doesn't like harp on things too much. I'm just like kind of going through her character, but she really sold me. Like, she needed to be nailed. They needed to nail.
Whoa, dude, chill.
That's what I was going to say.
Dead.
So, they needed to nail her character, and that's exactly what they did, because she is the heart of the show. And I cannot wait to see what happens next. I heard the manga is crazy right now. That's what I heard.
Well, that's a couple things I want to talk about. What you just said, absolutely, and I think again you articulated it better than I could. That character, that detached character, has existed in all forms of media. But something that to me is so special about Frieren is that she is, she's trying, like she's making an effort, and she has people around her that are encouraging her and are patient with her, and it's so sweet. It's so sweet, and she does strike that balance, I feel like, perfectly, of not being too detached and just enough. She just wants to be and understand these things enough to like endear me to her, so that when she does succeed, like I feel like I'm succeeding too. And you were saying this in the beginning and kind of right now about the story. If you haven't watched it for whatever reason, I encourage you to watch it. And I think that it's very important. This is a story that I also feel like is in no rush which is refreshing to get to a certain point. I think that it's kind of, for some people, going to be, maybe, depending on what kind of anime you typically watch, it might be a harder sell and it might feel slower in the first couple of episodes, because it really is setting the stage for everything that needs to come. And it's really like building Frieren and her character and you know, kind of who she is. But as it goes on, it does start to change, and you do start to feel things ramping up, and you start to feel the world like kind of like expanding.
Yeah.
And you're getting a lot more history and a lot more information, and potentially even some foes. And it's incredible. I think that it's really nice to have something paced that way.
Yeah. I'm really, it's really, really great. I would highly recommend it.
Absolutely. If Madhouse is behind it and they're putting their whole what into it, and you haven't watched it, I recommend watching at least a couple of episodes, and keep in mind that if it does feel slow to you, it does hit a point where things do ramp up. But if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. I would just highly recommend it too. And I'm just having such a great time with it. I have been wanting on this freaking show, on this freaking podcast, to talk about JJK season 2 for so long, and it's not over yet. I think we're like barely maybe halfway through, or a little bit over halfway through. I don't know exactly how many episodes are going to be in this season, but it's a big deal because of Shibuya, the arc that it is covering. Also, the Hidden Inventory, which was the prequel that we got to see, which was beautiful and probably my favorite JJK of all time, period. But also because of our just relationship with JJK, which, if you're a subscriber and if you're a long time like viewer of this show and this channel, then you know, and I won't like go into too much detail, but I've talked to a lot of people about it who've had similar experiences with it. We just weren't like as grabbed and as hooked as everybody else was in the first season. But in season 2, consider me all the way hooked. Consider that hook all the way up my fucking nose into my brain. So I have some things I want to talk about, especially the last episode as of this recording, which was the Itadori bathroom fight, which is hands down, period, one of the best fights in all of anime, period. I mean, it felt like an actual fight. I felt the force of each blow. It felt real. It felt like it had weight. It felt, I don't know, man. It felt like nothing I had ever experienced. It was absolutely masterfully done. But before I go on too long.
No, you can go first.
What? What the heck? Well, I just do want to say that, you know, we've kind of talked a little bit about the Hidden Inventory, which this will be spoilers for JJK season 2. It's why we decided to include it at the end. So if you don't want to be spoiled, this is your warning now. We will be spoiling season 2. Just the anime, though. So we've kind of already talked about Hidden Inventory. And let's just start there, and then we can work our way through it. So Hidden Inventory, again, is one of the most beautiful parts of JJK to me so far, being an anime-only viewer, for everything that it sets up and how well it sets up the relationship between Geto and Gojo. And to also see Gojo in this sort of like different light. And to see a side of him that I felt like was always there, but to see him and hear him say some of the things he says and suggest some of the things he suggests.
I mean, it makes sense. It totally makes sense. It's like, yeah, you give this kid this crazy power. He knows that he is like pretty much unstoppable from the time he was born. Like, yeah, he's going to be fucking cocky. Like, of course. Yeah. Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be like kind of like, because he's that powerful. He feels like he's a god. Like it's very gray for him. And obviously, as he's gotten older and things have happened, like sense of justice and other things like become more solidified for him. But yeah, I think that for sure that makes so much sense as like a high school kid, and seeing like the difference between, you know, Gojo and Geto, and like, you know, the paths that they took and the choices that they made was really cool too. Not necessarily saying that they were like dealt the same hand obviously, because Gojo's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
But just to see like what conversations, and this is like also like in real life, like what a conversation can do to someone, and how they can change because of it, and how they can kind of just fast track to another lane of their life and just write it. Like, and with Ghetto, it was just kind of crazy to see that. And it was just it was a villain origin story. Like, it was the start of a villain origin story. And obviously we get to see a reveal that I wasn't necessarily surprised at, because I knew that something had happened at the end of movie 0, and I was like, there's no way that he let him go. Ghetto died there. Gojo fucking killed him. And everyone was like, no, he got away. He let him go, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, he died. So when we saw that reveal later on in season 2, obviously I'm talking about the head scar, whatever. I don't even know what that thing is.
Yeah, Ghetto opening his head and there being another thing inside of him.
Sorry, we don't know any.
I don't know the curse that is the name of the
is
curse.
Occupying his body. But I was like, what is that
or
scar?
What exactly it is, but
yeah, it's just kind of crazy. I was like, yeah, he died. Like, it's crazy. It's sad,
bro.
but
I was gunked off my ass. I was jaw on the floor, mouth agape, because I didn't see it coming. And I think two things, right? I think that people were telling you that. I think there were two camps of people. I fell into one, the camp that just didn't know, and
or you thought that he had escaped.
Yeah, and genuinely believed that he had escaped. Genuinely thought, well, if he's alive, it's anime, he somehow escaped, he somehow survived. But I do think there was another camp of people that were just trying not to spoil you, who were manga readers who already kind of knew what was happening. But I did fall into that other camp, because off mic, off camera, so many times, because Mehgan would always ask me, because I was really eager to watch season 2. And once the hidden inventory started happening, I was telling Mehgan, like, okay, you got to jump in. It's so fucking good. And so when she finally did, I was like rewatching it with her. And you kept asking, and you had asked multiple times even before this, like, about Ghetto. And I kept saying, like, I guess he got away. I guess he survived. I guess, he didn't actually die. So I was a fool. I was wrong. And you called that shit all the way from way back when we saw movie 0.
I was like, wait a minute. But other than that, I mean, yeah, just the hidden inventory arc has probably got to be one of my favorite in JJK thus far.
Yeah.
I mean, again, obviously we can go on and on about the animation. It's like top tier stuff that we're seeing. But it was just so fun to see, this kind of like you said, you kind of pitched like a slice of life, like thriller, horror-esque, like start to the arc, which was fun to see. And like the similarities of the main 3 versus like the 3 from the past, which is like Ghetto, Gojo,
which I'm a sucker for.
And what's her name? The one with the cigarettes.
So
you forget her name.
I forget her name.
Shoko?
I forget her name.
I think it's Shoko. Could be wrong. But yeah.
I know that she looks a lot like Nobara to me.
So there's a different name.
Yeah. I know it's a different character.
And it's the nurse from the season 1 that we've seen. Right. So they have the history there. But it was cool. And to see obviously young Nanami, and everyone.
And to meet Toji. To meet Toji for the first time. And to see all of that play out. Which again, I want to say, Shibuya, once we cut to Shibuya and the Shibuya arc begins proper, there are some highlight moments almost every episode, but the major ones for me have been the sealing of Gojo, which was insane and I didn't think was possible, but now with that reveal, I understand how it could happen, although I don't think it's
permanent.
It's not, I don't think it's going to last.
He's fighting for his life. He is fighting the hard fight in there, and there's obviously people working towards that not happening forever. But it's just a mass incident it's a mass incident, and it's so funny. I don't think that they're related at all because of other things that happened in real life. But Shibuya, I think this is one of the first years that they're not doing Halloween on the streets, which is like a big thing.
Shit.
Like Shibuya is Halloween. That's why it's like so famous, because that whole area is like well known to do like a celebration of like Halloween. Everyone's on the street, everyone's dressed up, whatever. And I think that they're not doing it this year. I don't think because of the incident, obviously. I think they're trying to get ahead of like what happened.
They're doing it because of the Shibuya incident.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Iwaton, which was like a horrible incident which happened last Halloween, where all those people were trampled within that street.
I didn't know about that.
You didn't know about that?
I did not.
So it was actually in Seoul that happened.
Gotcha.
And yeah, obviously it was like a really horrible incident. So they're probably trying to get ahead of that. But everyone, of course, all the anime people are like, oh my God, it's because they don't want Gojo
Right.
to get sealed. Like all these things.
Oh God.
Or like there was like a clip of Skylar Taz was like, I'm in Shibuya. He's like, I'm in Shibuya right now. They're like, no, Taz, no, get out of there, no.
Shout out Taz, dude. Love Taz.
Love Taz.
There's 3 or 4 like really big moments that I want to talk about. Obviously, we can't talk about all of it without this being like a crazy long episode, but I'm just excited that we get to talk about what we get to talk about here. So I think that the 3 for sure are Toji returning. Like the return of Toji after the hidden inventory was also something that I was so surprised by and couldn't believe was happening even as it was happening. I was like, no, it's going to get like reversed or undone, or it only has like a certain amount of time that he's able to like do that. But no, it looks like he's back. Like he is actually back. The second thing is the Nanami scene, which we'll talk more about. Nanami showing up to save Nobara, and I'm sorry. I'm a new JJK fan. I'm new to the fandom. I'm new to it. So I'm not sure of everyone's name, but when Nanami shows up to save Nobara and that other girl, that was a scene that I know got a lot of people excited for a lot of different reasons. It got some people excited for the great action and for the triumphant moment, and it got some other people excited from ponytails being grabbed and muscles being flexed. Shit. That was a great moment. The reveal, obviously the ghetto reveal, the Gojo seal. These are all moments. I want to talk to you though about the Nanami scene because
because
I saw you.
And everyone's getting so fucking mad that people attracted to men get fucking something in anime. Oh my God. Stop the fucking press. Fucking stop it all. Oh my God. Wait, you're telling me that there's tasteful fan service of a man in anime? We need to stop this shit. It needs to be stopped. You're telling me there's not an upskirt shot of a 400-year-old demon lolly, but there's a man on screen that's like just showing off his body? Forget it.
It's over.
It's over it's just so annoying. I hate the internet sometimes. It's like, over. It's just let us have something.
Yeah, you kind of brought that to my attention. I mean, I think
it's a whole thing on the internet.
Yeah, you're on Twitter and stuff more than I am, but yeah, you showed me some of the posts and stuff. And I couldn't believe it, dude. I like sometimes I'm embarrassed at how I'm still to this day sometimes shocked by how people react to things. And the fact that there were people who were reacting to other people thirsting over Nanami as if it was like, this like crime.
Y'all, females gotta chill. Females gotta chill with this shit. It's sad. It's sad, honestly. You guys thirsting. It's like not meant to be that. Like, you guys need to chill. Meanwhile, you're watching like High School DxD and there's like titties jiggling in people's faces and people landing on fucking panties and shit. Like,
okay. I mean, it exists. It exists in everything. Like, in everything. In every series, I feel like, well, not every series. I'm being dramatic. But in a lot of series.
I saw an example of like, Nanami didn't have to pull his titties out for it to be fan service, for it to be tasteful, for it to be sexy, for it to be hot.
Yeah.
Fight me.
I mean, it was clearly sexy. I think that's undeniable. It was.
There's another scene with Gojo. Same shit.
Which one were they saying that about?
He's riding on like the arm and he's like twisting it off. It's not supposed to be sexual, but it's very sexual. And it's like, it's awoken something in me. There's a couple scenes like that. And it's okay. It's going to be fine. You know, it's going to be okay.
There are a lot of things in this world that are black and white, sometimes gray, but it's a fact that scene was sexy. Okay? It's a fact that I was riled up.
I felt something.
And I felt a lot of things.
It's okay. It's okay, you guys.
When I was watching that scene.
We're going to be okay. Toji, I mean, just in general as a character, is absolutely insane.
See, that's what I think it is.
He did not.
I think they're in this bag.
He did not need to be built like that.
Oh,
yeah. He did not need to be built like that. He doesn't need to talk like that. I'm so happy he's back.
Yeah.
I needed more.
Who the fuck was that other guy? Get him out of here.
Bro,
Bozo.
Loser. I was like, thank God his soul got overtaken by Toji right now. Like, if I could only be so lucky, you know?
Yes.
Because he had Toji inside him.
He did.
And it's like,
and you were like, damn. You were like, why not me though?
Why can't I have my soul?
It's so crazy.
Why can't I have my soul taken by Toji? Why can't he fight within me?
Or why can't he be?
I didn't say that.
In you.
I did not say that.
It's so crazy.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
It's so crazy because one day, this is for a video that we were recording a while back. I had come into the studio a little later than usual. And I saw Mehgan like doing that fucking incantation and shit. She had a fucking candle and shit, and a little picture of Toji. She had a little piece of like wig hair or something that was black like Toji's, and she was doing this shit from the episode. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "Nothing." And now I know that you were trying to get that man inside of you. Now I know what you were doing. You were calling upon him.
And everyone's like, "Bro, like." He sleeps on the streets. He probably smells like shit. He probably would. Like, why would you like him? Like, y'all thirst over power. She don't flush his toilet.
That's true.
She don't shower.
That's true.
He don't smoke those cigarettes.
That's true.
You could like
Go
that.
off.
Other people can be disgusted by it.
That's true. Go off. Go the fuck off.
I
mean, I think a lot of these, women in anime, and I'm gonna say this, a lot of whom I also love. But some of these soul reapers battling it out for hours at a time, those outfits, they're not breathable.
I don't know if they have sweat glands.
Oh, that's true.
They probably don't sweat.
I was just thinking,
I don't even know if they piss.
After a battle, there'd be a lot of BO. The Shinigami robes come off,
but
there's a musk.
They have the Shinigami musk though.
They do.
It's different.
They do.
It is so different than a human musk.
Yeah.
Ichigo probably smells rank.
Right. Because he's got that human musk.
He's got that human musk.
He's got all the musk.
He's got the Quincy. Okay.
Oh, he's got a hollow musk.
Spoilers for
Bleach?
Yeah.
I mean, that's old. That's old.
You could say, if someone spoiled us on Gurren.
That's true.
That's old.
That's true. And I'm sorry.
Sorry. I was the one who started it. I'm sorry.
But that's also everywhere, and I apologize still, but...
Just forget you heard it.
Just forget you heard that.
Anyway, it just makes me very upset.
But don't forget that you heard that Mehgan wanted Toji inside of her. Don't forget that.
You said that. You said that. I did not say that. I was just stating what was happening in the show. Okay, and I think that it's going to be okay, you guys. It's going to be okay.
I'm still shocked.
There's scenes that are made specifically for people who are attracted to men, and it's okay. And even if you're not attracted to men, you can appreciate it.
You can watch it.
Just like
not be gay.
That's true. Sure.
But you can also,
it's just like a woman. I can appreciate yitties. Maybe I can appreciate. Wow, that's a donk.
Maybe you can also awaken your devil fruit. You know what I'm saying?
You're taking this way too far. I'm trying to steer it away from talking about that, and you just continue.
I'm so sorry. I'll stop.
You continue to just dig yourself in a hole that you cannot get out of.
I'll stop.
Anyway, we love JJK season 2.
That scene, Toji being back, was really cool. And the Nanami scene was really, really cool. I mean, yes. I think it was... Nanami, when he shows up, this man just has good scenes. Whenever he shows up, shit's about to go down. It happened in season 1 a couple times, I think. But in season 2, I mean, it was a very powerful scene, and I felt his power, dude. I felt it
He was not messing around. You could just tell he was on a completely different level.
And yeah,
he was on a completely, and that's what she says. What's her name? Nobara. She said like, oh, this is what the class. What are they? I'm sorry, I'm really bad at remembering.
Yeah, the rank, and they're the rank they are for a reason, and the gap between is kind of a chasm. It's kind of an abyss. It's
insane. Yeah,
because of how powerful they are when they truly go all out.
Yes,
and it always reminds me of, and I know this is a really like throwback thing, not really super related, but it always reminds me of I think it was it was one of the Spider-Man comic books. It was when Doc Ock like took over Spider-Man's body. I think it was called the Superior Spider-Man or something like that. And Doc Ock is fighting in Spider-Man's body. He's taken over Spider-Man's body and he's fighting. And he throws a punch and he like rips someone's jaw like completely off. And he realizes in that moment how strong Spider-Man is and has always been and how much he's been holding back. And it was just such a cool way to show that. And in that moment, I just remember thinking that was the most creative shit of all time. I remember thinking like, God damn, like it made, because it's something that you go back and you read everything or you remember everything that's ever happened and it changes it. And I don't know, not exactly one for one, but like Nanami, like seeing him walk around and not really give a shit and, you know, kind of have the attitude that he has because of everything that he's been through.
But we're seeing a different side of him because he is literally seeing like his comrades and fellow, you know, people in his line of work riddled all over the street, dead.
Yes.
He's like, who is responsible for this? He was able to put out all of his anger on this one individual because they were like completely responsible for just like toying around with them, literally like with these lives. And Nanami's like, no, you did this. Did you? And you could just tell he was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, not good enough.
Yeah.
Like it was so satisfying because of, I don't know, his attitude, that cocky, you know, that's my favorite. When we even saw that in like when they were in the subway station, they were just so confident that they could just like get Gojo. They're like, oh yeah, this is going to be easy. And it's like, do you know who he is? Do you know why Ghetto or like former Ghetto is like putting all of these things in place?
Yeah.
Because this fool is like almost unstoppable. There needs to be steps to this shit, because if there's not, if one thing falls out of place, you're all dead.
And I really do think that I'm really, for the first time, starting to really understand and appreciate what this show is really about. Because I think that I can say that I feel like I've never seen a show that has such a strong main character and an overpowered main character like handled so well ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a force and he is on another plane compared to everyone else. And I guess what I also didn't really realize is Sukuna is that for the curses and Gojo is like that for the sorcerers. So it is like, yeah, like they each have their own one.
I said it's like the Force, kind of.
I mean, you know, you can kind of also make that comparison because there are, strong people on both sides.
And there has to be, isn't there? Like, has to be a balance, within.
And there has to be a balance.
Everything, but.
And I guess, you know, I don't know. Something about Shibuya is making me have a greater appreciation and an understanding for what this show is really doing, because I am learning. And this is the last thing. And again, there's so many things that we're not going to get to talk about, but we just wanted to highlight some of our favorite parts of it so far, is the fight between Itadori and the blood guy.
So we should, sorry, we didn't look at
I'm sorry.
You guys know what we're talking about.
I'm a new fan, but I'm excited. I'm passionate. Okay. And I'm going to be better, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I want to talk about it. And I'm sorry that I haven't got them all locked in yet, but I will. It was during this fight and I felt it throughout. You know, I kept feeling like, oh, you know, certain things make me feel and remind me of Bleach or Naruto or this or that. And with that character's design, the character with the blood ability, the pressurized blood ability, I mean, that character looks and feels so much like they have like a Hunter x Hunter design. And it's like, as I'm watching more and more of it, I'm realizing the reason that Jujutsu Kaisen is so good is because it takes inspiration from everything that came before it, and it learns from everything that came before it. So many things can do versions of everything else, have a training arc, have a character that is this archetype or that archetype. But what JJK is doing is taking from not one thing, but taking inspiration from multiple things and learning from those things and bringing those stories together to create a new story for a modern time. It's a very modern story that is resonating now, and it is kind of like amazing to watch. It feels special to get to be a part of, like, as it's happening, because I don't know, it's the first time that I feel like something like this has been done so well. Things that are successful now have broken molds and have been established for so many years. But what JJK is doing is really hard to do and doesn't happen all the time, and is kind of like, it's cementing itself as like one of, I don't really partake in anymore this big three conversation, because I mean, people are always trying to say the dark triad and the this and the that, but it's just cementing itself as like being on the Rushmore of anime manga, if it hasn't already. It's so special because with the abilities, with the character developments, how it handles certain characters with certain power levels, like how it does its power systems, its explanation of the curses, giving it more power. It's playing on tropes. It's strong. It's got a strong story, a strong power system. It's doing everything at a 10, and it's really crazy. And that fight is what really, in the last episode as of this recording, is what really like opened my eyes all the way up to that, because it was, and I don't mean when like characters have unleashed their true power and they're like flying in the sky and through the clouds, like that could be awesome, and I love watching that too. But something about them being in a bathroom, a dark and dirty bathroom with the sprinklers going off and going blow for blow, and these blows feeling again like they carried weight and a force, and it felt like I was watching an actual street fight, as if like two people had been mocapped and were just told to beat the shit out of each other in a bathroom. Like I felt it, and the choreography of all of it was so precise and cinematic. It was all very easy to follow, and the technique itself of the compressed blood felt fresh and felt new, but it also felt a little familiar at the same time. I was on the edge of my seat like I was watching an MMA fight, and I'm not even a fan of MMA, and it really blew me away. It really blew me away.
Yeah, it was a really good fight in so many ways, like you said, with everything, the choreography, the animation, everything, and like I really did love the like high, like you said, the high intensity of the fight. I mean, this guy, the bloodbender, he's going after Yuji because he killed his brothers. Like, that's a deep reason. That's something that you would want to kill someone for. You murdered my brothers. I don't care if they were curses, they were like my family, you killed them. So you just feel towards the end of the fight, and how it's resolved and how it's handled at the end is kind of crazy, but you feel and you feel the stakes. Like, Yuji's like, if I don't do something, I'm going to die. And then he has that realization towards the end of the fight, like, you know what, even if I do die, I need to take this guy out, because everyone else is going to come here, Nobara, everyone that's trying to help the situation, like, they're going to have to stand up next to him. I have to take him out. I don't care if I die in the process. And that was like such a huge step for him. And I felt that. I was like, dang, like I'm not really the biggest fan of Yuji, but in that moment I was like, that's baller. Like that's amazing that you would say that. Like, not just because like I have to kill him. No, he's like, I'm killing him for everyone else. That's such like that's so smart, and like such a good way to show like a character's resolve. Like I was really impressed. And again, towards the end of the fight, you really felt like, oh, like he's like, this is the fight to the death. Like he's fighting for his life, and the other guy, the bloodbender, is like fighting to kill him because of what happened. And yeah, it was just an amazing fight. You could feel the emotions from both of them, like clearly. It wasn't just like a back for back, like, I kill you because I have to, because I was stationed here. Like, it was like, oh, you were the one who killed my brother. Okay. And you just like, I have other things to do. But like, even in that moment too, like Yuju's like, you know what? I don't gotta be the main character right now. I don't gotta be the one to save Gojo. Someone else to do that. If I die here, if I get him down, that's all I care about. And I was like, that's lit. That's teamwork. That's a team. That's what they should learn. That's what they learn at JJK high school.
Fuck yeah. It's so good, man. It's so good. We're having such a good time. The ones that we try to keep up on together. I mean, Mehgan watches, her own stuff, and I try when I have time to watch my own stuff. But the ones that we always try to sit down and watch together if we have time are Frieren and JJK, and it's just been amazing. Pluto's also out as of this recording. We haven't watched it
Are all
yet.
episodes out?
I don't know if all of them. I think all of them. I think they batch released them. But we'll see. So we definitely want to binge all that and have a conversation similar to like we had today, but maybe dedicate an entire episode to Pluto. So stay tuned for that. I think that's going to do it, and that's going to end our conversation and this specific episode. But do us a favor. If you're already subscribed, then please consider liking this video and leaving a comment. It doesn't take much, and it goes a long way. It really does mean a lot. And for episodes like this, or any type of episode that's a little different from what we normally do, it helps, it matters, it makes a difference. So leaving a comment would mean the absolute world to us. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because that also helps us grow and reach more people as well. And the more people we're able to reach and the more we're able to grow, the more we're able to do. And all we want to do is do as much as we can to consistently create different types of content. So consider liking and subscribing. And if you would like to go even a step further, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. To become a Patreon member, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/volume1pod. To become a YouTube member, all you got to do is click join somewhere next to the subscribe button on this video. You get early access to videos. You get uncut, unblurred, uncensored, unedited versions of all of our reactions of every series we've ever done. Gurren, Neon, One Piece, I'm forgetting Bleach, so many more. And again, that is all available on our lowest tier, and I think it's a little bit cheaper if you go the Patreon route. But either way, the only reason we're able to do and have the time to do all the things that we do is because of our Patreon and YouTube member family. So if you're willing and able to support that way, patreon.com/volume1pod, or click join next to the subscribe button to become a YouTube member. It means the absolute world to us if you're able to. And if you're not, or it's not your thing, don't worry about it. We love you just the same. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which today, Mehgan, is Frieren.
Don't get sealed.
Don't get sealed. I mean, I like it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for any and all ways that you show your support. And until next time, don't get sealed. Childhood or high school friend,
classmate who's very evil and then died by your hand and then is now someone else.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
But what you do need to do is call anonymous.